You're right. And if there is any coach that will make you fail if you get cute, it's Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is not known for, letting that happen. He is one of the most prolific coaches of our time for a good reason. But again, I just don't know if Russell Wilson is that guy that can put them over the top. And I think Baltimore will have their way on the ground. So I got Baltimore win that game. And, the Harbaugh family is going to live lovely on Saturday night. Broncos, the number 7 seed, against the number 2 seed Bills. This is an interesting matchup.
It is, and I really like Denver to keep this one close. I don't want to go as far as say I mean, I think they could win the game. I'm not. I don't know if I'll pick it, but I think they could very well win this game. Listen, a year ago, they played, I think, a Sunday or Monday night game. Denver's defense embarrassed Josh Allen on national TV. He turned it over, threw 2 interceptions. I think he had a fumble. He threw for under 200 yards. And Denver played spoiler in that role that night. They would certainly be playing spoiler once again in a major way if they did it with a rookie quarterback, mind you, with Bo Nix. But let's not, forget Sean Payton. If you want to talk about who's the better coach between Payton and McDermott, Payton's got a ring. Payton has done a great job turning this Denver program around with a quarterback not many people believed in Bo Nix, but he clearly has, and he's being rewarded for it. Nix has had a nice season. I do think that this is still a tough spot for Bo Nix. As much as I love that Denver defense and I trust them and I think that they're going to do a nice job of holding Buffalo's offense in check, it's another situation of some weird noises were coming from my bathroom, and I'm getting a little nervous.
You got ghosts in your bathroom? Uh-oh. Watch out, Ticket. That place is haunted.
I was just hoping it wasn't a pipe. I was more like, I hope that wasn't a pipe freezing or something.
Oh, boy.
Or bursting. Yeah. Anyways.
No showers for a week.
Bo Nix.
Hit the showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be tough. But I think Bo Nix is going to end up hitting the showers in this one, Shark. Close game, ugly game. Buffalo, but they barely. Buffalo by 3, 4.
Look, I think this playoffs might be one of the best coaching playoffs that we've seen in quite some time. I really like Sean Payton as a coach. I really like, Sean McDermott. But I think what these teams have in common is belief in the team regardless of their situations, right? And like with Bo Nix, again, going back to the rookie wall, is he going to hit it? We don't know. Obviously we can't all read the future, but I think with Bo Nix, he at least has the tools in place in order to be successful in this game. We haven't necessarily, I remember him in college, there were games where he didn't play well, right? And I just haven't really seen him, give up too many recent or devastating turnovers. I can see this happening in this game where it is very, very close down the stretch, and I think Bo Nix turns over the ball. Now, the reason why is because when you have a defense like the Buffalo Bills and a mastermind defense with Sean McDermott running the show, he's going to put Bo Nix into tough situations. Now, the same can be said with Vance Joseph, but here's the difference between Josh Allen and Bo Nix. Josh Allen is ready to win and take this team to the next level. I haven't seen him do it in a long time, but this season, I'm seeing it. He's at a high MVP level, and he's absolutely ready for this moment. I think it is one of those things where, a guy goes into the game, and you can write it off and say, all right, Josh Allen's got this game. But it's going to be close. I want to respect Denver. Denver's played extremely well. Their defense is incredible. So I think you have to recognize that both teams have belief in their systems, offensively and defensively, and just play as it is. Joe Brady's also playing for a head coaching job, so he wants to perform at a high level. So I think offensively, the Bills are going to be ready to play. I think it's going to be one hell of a game. I really do. I think a lot of people may be overlooking this game, but I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. I really do. So let's move over to the NFC. As mentioned, Detroit has a bye. We got the number 7 seed, the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles at the 4:30 game. It is to be shown on Fox. Who you got ticket?
This is probably the one game I have the least like conviction towards. If I had to pick, we talked earlier about Hurts or Pickett, who's playing. I don't know who's like. I don't know who's better between Hurts and Love. I don't know who I trust more. I don't know who I trust more between Sirianni and LaFleur. I think LaFleur is a very good offensive game planner and schemer. Josh Jacobs has had a great season. Saquon Barkley's had a great season. Obviously, Barkley, the younger back. I'm not saying, Jacobs is the same level as him, but both have been outstanding for their teams this year. Both have good defenses in different respects. I think the one strength that Philly will
defensive line
rely on, and let's not forget, they play, the D line. And that's something where, like, if Love is a little bit banged up, which it sounds like he might be as well, it could be a long day. I think I trust the Eagles defense more just because, like, the weapons that Love has. And listen, they're nice receivers, but like Watson's not playing. Guy's always hurt. Dobbs, Wicks, Reed, whoever it is, guys get open in that offense, and LaFleur schemes it up well. It's just the Eagles defense, like they have guys all over. Their secondary is good. Their linebacker, I just trust that defensive unit a little bit more. This is going to be interesting, though, because Sirianni sometimes gets cute and he gets in his own way and makes dumb decisions going for it or being too aggressive. I think if the Eagles go into this game saying we want to run Saquon and Jalen Hurts and Gainwell and just run the ball, be physical, don't turn the ball over, that's their best path to victory. I think for Green Bay, they want this to get out of hand. I think Green Bay wants a shootout. I think they want to open this up and say, like, let's see, let's get into a duel. We want to take Saquon out of the equation a little bit more. And we want to let the quarterbacks be quarterbacks. And I think that's where Green Bay feels like they could win this game because Jalen Hurts, especially maybe coming off an injury, or if it's Pickett, if they're forced to throw the ball a lot, that's where turnovers might happen. And you see Sirianni make some mistakes on the coaching side of things.
I love
that. That being said, Philly is my pick. Philly's my pick, but this is like, honestly, I think whoever wins this game might win the NFC.
I agree. I think this game is absolutely for the NFC Championship, right? I look at like both teams, and like you said, there's a ton of strengths on both sides. I absolutely agree with you. I think the biggest component going into this game is for Green Bay to absolutely protect Josh Jacobs in the running game. When you talk about protection with the quarterback, right? That's one thing. But allowing a running back to establish the balance of attack is going to be immensely important. And I can see Philly fully taking advantage and trying to take that away. And Josh Jacobs has had a great year, right? But we also saw it with the Vegas Raiders, where he had glimpses of, even this year, was it Emmanuel Wilson outperformed him in some games. So I can see Emmanuel Wilson probably getting a little more touches, in regards to establishing the run more, because I think Philly will absolutely force Josh Jacobs to go backwards. There'll be a lot of yards for loss. I think the Jordan Love injury situation is going to play a major role. And I absolutely agree with you. You took the words out of my mouth when I say that Philly will absolutely be in it, or with Green Bay if it's a high scoring game, and if it's a very close game, you gotta imagine that Nick Sirianni will somehow screw it up and cause havoc in the worst way possible. So I gotta believe that Sirianni is made to do well this playoffs, but we have not established that just yet in this Hurts era, for them to make it to another Super Bowl and allow them to be successful, under Nick Sirianni. So I think Vic Fangio, his presence on the defensive side, putting really good pieces together defensively. Jalen Carter has been a beast this year. Jordan has been tremendously thought of too. So I got to imagine that these guys are going to be ready to play and stop the run and force Green Bay to become one dimensional with Jordan Love being hurt. So I got to imagine that Philly's going to be ready to play. I got Philly. Commanders, number 6 seed at number 3. Surprise, surprise, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, the team that doesn't really seem to get a lot of love or respect, they just fly under the radar. And maybe it's just because of that division that they play in, and people were just like, yeah, it's, they won because the rest of the teams are garbage.
Yep.
Listen, Baker Mayfield, I referenced it earlier, best season of his career. He's threw over 41 touchdowns. 41 touchdowns. And listen, Mike Evans, probably going to be a Hall of Fame receiver.
Probably.
If you were to ask the average fan like who the other guys are.
He's a Hall of Famer, that man. He's a freaking beast. He's a beast.
No, he is. You can't, like Sterling Shepard and McMillan, like Trey Palmer, like I don't know. They have just these guys, Otten goes down, and now Dane Parham, whatever, Parham, yeah. He's stepped up. I think he's got a touchdown in both his games starting in place of Otten the last couple of weeks.
This is a tough one.
I really like Jaden Daniels, and I know I talked about earlier the Tampa Bay secondary, the back end, they're going to miss a big piece. It's just hard not to imagine, like, and I don't love Todd Bowles, especially being a Jet fan, but it's still Todd Bowles at home against a rookie quarterback. And I know Daniels isn't your typical rookie quarterback. You referenced it earlier. He doesn't seem like he's had those like immaturity or like dumb moments where he just, turns the ball over and makes all these mistakes. But you got to believe if it's going to happen, it's going to be against a veteran, savvy head coach who made Pat Mahomes look bad on the biggest stage of all not that long ago, a couple of years back in the Super Bowl.
Come on, Tom Brady. Come on.
Well, no, I'm just saying the Chiefs didn't score a touchdown that game.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah. So I lean Tampa. I just think that they're not going to get stopped. And I at least think that like Vita Vea and some of the veterans on that Tampa defense, they could wreak some havoc on a young quarterback. And if I'm trusting, listen, Baker Mayfield, another thing to point out, he hasn't lost in the wild card round when he makes it there. He's 2-0. So I think he's going to go to 3-0. High scoring game. Should be a fun one. I think Tampa's going to pull this out.
This is a hard matchup to evaluate because I think if I'm Tampa, the worst team I want to go up against in the first round is Washington. I don't want to play Washington come the playoffs. I think Washington, throughout the course of the season, they have proven that they can absolutely win under bad circumstances. And Jaden Daniels, as good of a rookie, season he's had some serious, turnovers, especially late in games, but he's found a way, to make things happen. So you always kind of wonder, is there luck going to run out, right? I think Tampa Bay is absolutely begging for Washington to put Jaden Daniels in a situation that is going to be not the best type, right? And I look at Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay's defense is that good. I really don't. I don't think they have a chance against Jaden Daniels. I don't. I really think that Baker, under duress, he's played really well this year. I get that. But when does he, again, become the Baker of old, where he starts throwing, 2-3 turnovers a game? And I think Dan Quinn can draw up a defense in order to make that happen. So I like Jaden Daniels. I think I'm riding that train. I really want him to go far in this playoffs. He's proven to be the guy in this draft. And I had him unbelievably high in the draft coming out of LSU, watching him play. The guy's a winner.